So what's going on, Gas Gang? My name's Jamie, welcome back to Officially Gas. Now today, and as promised, we are going to be doing a rundown of the costs involved in building a stage 3 Ford Fiesta ST. Guys, stay tuned for this one, it's going to be interesting. Let's get it. So yes guys, we are back with another video on the Ford Fiesta ST, and it's probably the most requested video ever on one of my builds, which is crazy. And it's how much did it actually cost to do a stage 3 build on my Ford Fiesta ST. So I'd imagine there's a lot of people out there who kind of want to follow a similar path, seeing if it's worth it or not. I'm going to do a rundown of the costs involved in building my personal build. So there'll be things on there that you don't obviously need to take the car to a stage 3, just so you know how much my build has cost so far from start to finish. And then I'll give you the breakdown of how much a stage 3 package costs, and also give you some offers and things like that. So I'm gonna hook you up on this one if you stay with me. So the main goal of buying this Ford Fiesta ST was literally to rag it round the track and not worry too much if things go wrong. So those of you who know and follow the channel closely know that I bought the Ford Fiesta ST on eBay on an auction. It was actually Cat N registered. So that basically means it's had a crash, it was non-structural damage, and it's been repaired. Initially, I won it for £4,200. And when I called the guy, I was like, look, I'm coming down quite a way. I had to go to Portsmouth. It's about a 2-hour drive for me. Is there anything wrong with the car? Don't mess me around. I know I've won it quite cheap, but don't mess me around. I've done a little bit of research and I found that these gearboxes are very weak. Crunchy gears is, you know, very common. So I was like, look bro, has it got crunchy gears? He's like, no, it's fine, it's fine. I get there and the car looked proper clean. I'm not gonna lie, it looked really clean. So I was like, all right, I'm buying it. Let's go for a quick test drive. Took it for a quick test drive. Made it through the test drive. Okay, I was like, this is actually all right. Just pulling back up to park up and just talk about negotiations or whatever. And I put it into first gear and it just grinded. It wouldn't even go into gear. I just looked at the guy like, bro, like, you know what I mean? He just looked at me like, he knew he was trying it. Right there and then, I wasn't really gonna buy the car, so I just thought I'd start haggling. Started haggling around with it, and eventually I actually managed to pick the car up for £3,900 because it needed a gearbox. So anyway, bought the car for £3,900. So that is the first cost involved. Now, I think you're gonna be pretty hard pushed to actually pick one up for that kind of price yourselves. But if I did, I mean, an offer like that or a, you know what I mean, a chance like that might pop up again, who knows? So £3,900. When I drove the car away, I realised that it seemed like the car was actually pulling to the left a little bit, or the right, I can't remember. It was pulling to one side or the other. So on the way home, I pulled into a petrol station to check tyre pressures because it's the simplest thing to do and check on the way home, just to make sure everything was all right. And all 4 of the tyre pressures were way off. And one of them was like down to like 8 PSI. I was like, wow, pumped them all up and I drove it home and it didn't pull that much, or I didn't think it pulled that much. It seemed to be a bit better. Got home and realised that 3 of the tyres actually had slow punches and one of them just had a proper puncher. Second cost involved was tyres. Now, first set of tyres were actually Toyo Proxy T1Rs or TR1s. T1Rs, the cheaper one basically. And they cost me £200 for the set. Now, a little while later, 2 of those tyres got damaged, don't ask. And it was basically an emergency and I had to get new tyres. The only shop that was open, the only shop that basically had tyres that would fit my wheel at the time, sold me some Matadors, some like cheap non-branded kind of Matador, I don't even know what they are. Anyway, they sold me them for £75 a piece. Absolutely robbed me, but I was in need. So that was another £150. So we're already up to £350 on tyres now, 6 tyres. Now next, and I'm not gonna do this in methodical order because I did get my wheels a lot later than I'd done some of my other mods, but because it's kind of tyre and wheel related, I'll let you know. Anyway, I went and got my Sparco wheels. Now you probably remember that when I went to Sambo's Tyres, I got new Sparco wheels fitted. And when I got the Sparco wheels fitted, we put new tyres on. So going back to tyres again, and this time we put some semi-slick track orientated tyres on. We put the Toyo Proxy R888Rs on them, and they were not cheap. They came in at around, I think it was £500 or £600 for the set of tyres. They are not cheap tyres. I'm gonna go £600. I think they're £150 each. So if we're talking tyres now, guys, we're up to £950 on tyres alone. So £950 for just rubber. So also, before we go any further, I thought it's worth mentioning, you probably clocked already, but I'll just be transparent that a lot of the time with these builds, I'm getting some sort of a discount, or sometimes even getting the parts gifted, like, you know what I mean? Because promotional purposes, it works for everyone involved. So I didn't necessarily pay these prices for everything, but we're talking retail, and I want to give you a rundown if you was to buy it. So I hope that makes sense. So moving on to my 17-inch Sparco wheels. Now they will set you back £700 or thereabouts. So as I said, when I picked the car up, it did have crunchy gears, so inevitably it needed a gearbox. Also, whilst we had the gearbox out, it was only right to do the clutch. We thought we're going for a little bit more power, so we uprated the clutch to a Ford Fiesta ST200 clutch, which is, I don't know, apparently it takes a little bit more power. So for the gearbox, I actually paid, and I managed to get it off eBay again. It's all about being smart and savvy with certain builds. I bought it secondhand. I think it was off a low mileage car. Of course I'm gonna say it was off a low mileage car, but it didn't crunch, and I paid £275. I've got to check because I've got my list here. Basically, I paid £275 for a gearbox, which I don't think is that bad. And for the Ford Fiesta ST200 clutch, obviously I had to buy that brand new, and that cost me around £300. So for the fitting of the clutch and gearbox, I took it down to Devil Developments, and they're actually £70 or thereabouts an hour labour. Also, when I went down there, I had already purchased a set of Bilstein B14 coilovers for the car, and again I bought them second hand because I'm being smart and savvy, but when they turned up they looked a bit old, but they still do the job. They weren't leaking or anything like that, and I got them for an amazing price. I paid £320 for my coilovers, so I don't think that's that bad. The clutch, the gearbox and the coilovers were all done in one setting, and that probably took about 5 hours. So 5 hours at about £70 an hour is around £350 just labour. Before actually even going stage 3, with all the above things I've just mentioned that I'd done to the car, we're at about £6,150 or thereabouts already. So this is my build cost, and they are things that you obviously perhaps won't have to do. But I think obviously there were certain things I had to do because I bought cheap, and you know what I mean, I had to rectify certain problems. So £6,150 already before we're talking about any stage 3 business. So now the things you probably want to hear: how much did it actually cost to go stage 3? So what I've actually got here, because I can't memorize everything, is my phone with everything written down on it. So basically a stage 3, or the stage 3 that I went for, and bearing in mind I was working with a few companies on this one like Devil Developments, LITTCO, PUMA Speed and AIRTEC, and the prices that I'm about to tell you are basically the cheapest prices I could find. Don't shoot me down if you can find cheaper prices, but this seems to be like the market average. So AIRTEC stage 3 intercooler, £550. So LITTCO's ST300 hybrid turbo, £950. PUMA Speed's turbo elbow, £70. Scorpion's turbo back non-resonated exhaust, £675. R-Sport induction kit, £125. PUMA Sport silicone induction hose, £69. R-Sport large bore crossover pipe, £130. R-Sport hot side large bore pipe kit, £100. And also, whilst we were at it, we done a service. Now service items, it depends how far you want to go with that. I would put that £50 to £100 including oil. So obviously all those parts fitted, we had to map the car. Now my map from Devil Developments for a stage 3 is £525. Also, what we can't forget is labour costs involved in this. Now, just going off the top of my head from the day being there, I think it took around 6 hours to fit. Now, don't quote me on that, but it was in and around that. So going off £70 an hour labour, 6 hours, that comes in at about £420. The total of my build, if you want to use my parts and do it the way I done it, actually totals, wait there, £3,714. It's not that cheap actually, it's not that cheap. My total build cost on this car so far, and it started off cheap, but if you add everything up, and obviously I've done it bit by bit so you haven't felt the full bang of it, but actually totals nearly £9,800. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, a 300 brake horsepower car, it's a 2014. You know, I mean, it's not too bad, and it's set up quite nice. Now, £3,700 plus for a stage 3 package, obviously is quite expensive, depending on, you know what I mean, how much money you got, I guess. Spoke to Devil Developments, and they actually have come up with a couple of packages that, in my opinion, is real good value for money. So check it out. I'm going to read it off my phone. So basically, if you want to go from a stage 2 to a stage 3, and that's assuming that you've already got like an exhaust, an intake, and intercooler already, you can actually do that for £1,700 all in. Turbo, map, dyno, everything. And basically what that includes is the LITTCO ST300 turbo, and that's an exchange, so you give them your turbo back. That also comes with a larger intake elbow, stage 3 mapping, and then your service items, so they will service your car, dyno time and labour. So that's all in £1,700 from a stage 2 to a stage 3. If you want to go from a stock car or a stage 1 car with no hardware, that is going to cost you £3,250, which is like, I don't know, like a £500+ saving over how much it cost me, or how much my build would cost. So that actually includes the LITTCO ST300 turbo, again exchange, so you give them your turbo, they give you the ST300 turbo. That includes stage 3 mapping, the AIRTEC stage 3 intercooler, the larger intake elbow, the Scorpion 3-inch turbo back exhaust. That also includes a full intake kit including the crossover pipe, the large bore hot side boost pipe kit, the labour, the dyno time and all the service items, everything included, £3,250. So guys, I hope that has made sense. So I've tried to do a rundown of my build cost and then, you know, obviously gave you some options. And I think what I'll do is I'll leave links to all the companies that I have used, not to every part individually, because that's just going to take too long, in the description. So check them out, and definitely check out LITTCO, definitely check out Devil Developments. They are offering this package. And as I say, if you've already got certain modifications, your total build price will obviously come right down. Whew. Need to take a breath now because that was a lot of info. Guys, I hope I haven't baffled your mind. I hope it's basically in some way made it clearer how much it cost me to build my car so far, and also how much you can pretty much build a stage 3 car yourself if you wanted to. So there you go, that is the cost rundown on my car and how much it might cost yourself to actually follow a similar route. Now also guys, just quickly before we go, I thought I'd let you know that my car obviously isn't finished. Obviously it needs to get on track. Climate right now, we can't get it on track. So slowly I'm gonna keep ticking away with the modifications. I think the first or the next mod that it needs basically, first in line is gonna be a big brake kit because it just needs it. It's got the power now, but it ain't got a stopping power. I'm not gonna go overboard. So when it comes to like the body of the car, the look of the car, I'm not gonna be sticking loads of bits of plastic on it, this, that, the other. I like the kind of the stealth sleeper look. So like, you probably ain't going to see too much add-ons in that respect. I want to strip out the rear. I want to put a cage in it. Any companies that want to, you know, work with me, help me out, holla. Yeah, we're just going to keep grafting away with it and make a little beast, hopefully. So guys, we're going to end the video here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I've been waffling for too long, but you know, there's been a lot of information to get across. Guys, if you have enjoyed today, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you go back and check some of my other content out too, because I know you like that. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.